Exclusive Entertainment, episode 4. Mike, what's good?
What's going on, bro?
Talk to me, man.
What's going on, man? Hey, man, I got something to say today.
How you feeling, bro? Talk to the people.
The world crazy, man. Like, we need to get together, dog, for real. Like, 2020 is bad right now. It's bad, man. We got deaths on top of deaths and
Ooh, this how you coming? Okay.
Hate.
Okay.
So much hate in the world, man. If y'all watching this, stop hating, man. Don't hate on your peers. Don't hate on people doing better than you. Don't hate on people trying to come up. We should be uplifting each other, man. That's really been on my mind lately, especially with us trying to get this pod going. It's too much hate in the world, man.
R.I.P. Pop Smoke.
Yeah, man, for sure.
God damn, bro.
I ain't really listen to him. Like, I wasn't a musical fan, but just like, young guy doing this thing, trying to better his life. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. Like, the hate gotta stop, bro, for real.
Man, so R.I.P. Pop Smoke, New York rapper, died at the age of 20, right?
Yeah.
Man, it's like coming from the area he came from the outside looking in, working as hard as he worked, I'm assuming. You make it out the area and then, you just enjoying life, man. Whatever he was doing in LA, enjoying life, making music. Album had just dropped like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, something like that.
And the album is actually cool. Like, I wasn't really into the first one. I thought that was more of like a club banger album. Like, I feel like you really only heard them songs at the clubs. I couldn't really like headphones some of that music. But the second one I thought was cool, man. And it's just like, he worked so hard, put himself in a good situation out in LA. And like you said, people just hating for whatever reason. We just killing our own people, bro.
Nah, for real, man. 20, that's so young, bro. Life ain't even start for real. But yeah, I mean, it all boils down to hate, bro. Like, the hate gotta stop for real.
Yeah. And I want to get into music more on this pod. I hate we had to start it like this, but shoot. This is the other spectrum of the reality. Just deaths and unfortunate situations. And once again, man, social media, news, all these platforms handling death completely wrong. Just like the Kobe, man, they like, this is Kobe's plane crash. Look, y'all.
Yeah.
Fake plane crash video, bro. These are people that ran in Pop Smoke crib. Fake video, bro. Like, what's wrong with people chasing clout like that, bro? This shit is terrible.
Yeah.
Like, shit is terrible, bro. So R.I.P. Pop Smoke, man. It's been other music I have been liking though. 100% like that album he dropped, Meet the Woo 2. You ain't heard that, go listen to it. I know you said you was messing with the Herb, right?
Yeah, I haven't got all the way through it yet. I mean, by the time this come out, it'll be a couple days old, but it literally just came out yesterday. I had no time to listen to it, but I got about 3-4 songs in, and it's pretty smooth so far. I know it ain't the old Herb from when we was in school.
No, nowhere near.
He hasn't been that recently.
In a while.
In
a while.
Herb,
in a while.
That's still my boy, though. I ain't gonna
That's
lie.
my boy too,
That's
man.
my boy, but
I think it's a Chirac thing, man.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's been, but no, it started off decent though. I'm gonna finish the rest of it throughout the weekend. But yeah,
I hated the PTSD track. I hated it.
Yeah,
that wasn't the juice I wanted to hear. Like, same with the Mac Miller situation. Like, since they passed, it's like, damn, bro. I just been playing their music, listening to their messages in their music. And it's like, okay, people got things that they were working on with these people before they passed that now they want to put out. And now it just don't sound the same. And it's like, I don't even want it to ruin their sound that I previously had in my head. So I don't know if I got like a premeditated thought with it, but I just ain't like the track.
Yeah.
I ain't been liking Chance in a while either. So I ain't like that track at all.
You hated it, bro.
I ain't like it. I thought it was terrible.
I like the concept behind Chicago artists and
especially like him labeling it PTSD. Like, that's a huge like topic in itself. But
yeah,
I ain't like the track.
Yeah, I feel like it gotta be a hit if it's gonna be something like that. And it wasn't for you.
I do like that nudie though.
Nudie crazy.
I like that nudie.
The nudie's definitely
like
crazy.
That nudie. You heard that movie, The Photograph? Like, you heard about that movie?
I haven't.
It's like a Valentine's Day movie. It's actually some tracks on there, like some instrumental things. It's decent. Other than that,
It's not much hasn't came out this
Yeah,
year.
like
So.
the Brent Fires was cool. That was cool.
Yeah.
Something to put on. Other than that,
I
I heard Lil Baby had something.
I
I
ain't
think
heard
that
the
just
Lil
dropped.
Baby either.
I ain't heard that yet either.
But I will. Next pod, though, I'll have a better review of both of those. Y'all go check those out, man. Get your own personal opinion on those. But at the very least, just show your support, you know what I'm saying? They trying to do their thing.
Before we get into sports, last thing on music. Drake's worst album.
His worst? Oh, his worst album?
That's tough.
It is tough, but unfortunately, well, damn near his last one.
Did you say it was top 3 when it dropped?
What?
In the moment.
No, he definitely said that in
I did. I'm gonna say
it be like that with
one.
music sometimes too. Sometimes you gotta play certain shit back again and
play it
feel
a lot
it
of
different.
times.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say that to me, probably Thank Me Later is worse.
We're gonna go to sports.
What you think, B? You can't just skip out on it, bro. Worst album.
I'm gonna say the last one.
Last
Scorpion. It's like Scorpion had some tracks that I didn't like. Like I did not like the Michael Jackson track at all.
I fuck with it.
But it was also some tracks on there that's like some of my favorite Drake tracks, like Jade.
Well, Drake gonna do that.
Yeah, Jade.
Every album Drake has dropped is gonna have something that's like, yo, this might be top 10 Drake.
Right.
It's gonna have a few tracks like that. But this album was just too long.
That's a hard one to just throw on me like that. Like I would have to legit re-listen to them. But I'm gonna say off the top, probably in my personal opinion, I probably skip the most on Thank Me Later. Probably. I don't know. Could look at Thank Me Later and be like, damn, I said some bullshit.
I ain't fuck with the one with the thug we used to listen to in the dorms, bro. The Sonic shit.
Like that life.
Yeah, I think that was the one. I feel like that one ain't really had too many memorable tracks to me. I feel like that's the worst one if I'm gonna pick mine.
I liked One Life.
It was
definitely not his best work. Not to me.
Nah.
I wouldn't say it's.
I would like Scorpion better than that one though. To me, that's just my opinion though. So
see, Scorpion's such a long album. It's like you got more opportunities to miss, and you got more opportunities to provide hits.
Yeah, I feel like
it was just too many. Like, not to say Drake is ever average, but it was just too many songs. It was like, it's cool. Next song.
Yeah.
There's too many of those.
I feel that.
Yeah. But to the sports, because we technically a sports podcast. I definitely got to start off with Philly. Ben Simmons, back injury, be reevaluated in 2 weeks. Joel Embiid, shoulder injury, will be evaluated in a week. I guess going forward, what does this mean for Philly?
Well, as you already know, I already feel like one of them have to leave anyway. But I mean, Philly been underachieving so bad this year.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how good they were going to be moving forward anyway. As far as both of them being hurt, like that definitely hurts. They just lost to Cavaliers 2 days ago.
Mm-hmm.
So it's definitely a big loss, a blow. I mean, they still should be able to survive. Looking at that roster, you would think they would be able to survive without both of them, but like they've been so bad. Like the chemistry is off. It's almost like that second year Kyrie was in Boston. It's almost like that. Like they had such these high expectations, but now they look very average.
I think this is like the blessing in disguise to allow them to get a new coach. For the simple fact that they'll probably be a first round exit now. Because Embiid was never truly like healthy this entire season, the last couple seasons. Like his conditioning has just been so up and down. He could never really play 82 ever, like as it was. And then even before that, he was just injured in college, injured in the draft. So now he's finally like trying to get his conditioning right. And something happens again and again and again. But like you said, there's enough talent on the team. They should still be floating around the top 3 seed at all times.
Right.
Ben Simmons usually doesn't really get hurt. Now he's finally hurt. Now this is going to expose your coaching. Like it's other coaches that we know would get through this with the remaining talent on that team. They already struggling with the talent. We already think like they can't play together. They can't this, they can't that. I feel like another coach in that scenario, we might not even have these thoughts.
Well, yeah, I mean, coaching is a lot to do with it, along with, like Ben Simmons' weaknesses being the same as Embiid's weaknesses, but especially in the East, you would think, you still got Josh Richardson, nice asset. Tobias Harris still nice. Al Horford still nice. Like, that's still good enough to be in that top 4, 4 fighting for 3 range, even without Ben Simmons and Embiid. Because before the season, I thought Philly was the second best team in the East, like hands down.
Mm-hmm.
And for them to be where they are now, I don't even know what 6, 5, maybe 5, 6.
Yeah,
it's just such a disappointment. So, Embiid's what, 2 weeks?
2 weeks will be Embiid is 1 more week be reevaluated. Simmons is 2 weeks be reevaluated.
Just to be reevaluated.
Yeah, so Simmons got a back injury. Embiid got a shoulder injury.
And we know how those backs are. So potentially Simmons may not be back till mid to late March.
Mm-hmm.
Coming back a week or 2 before the playoffs. And I'm pretty sure he's going to come back on a minutes restriction.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know, man. Depending on who Philly get first round, the first round exit is very possible.
Yeah, they're only 2 games above Indiana at the 5th spot. So if they drop to 6, they would most likely play Boston at this moment.
I'm going to probably take Boston.
But Boston is only 1 game back of Toronto for the 2 spot.
So much can change. The East is so close.
I really see this as a blessing for them. Probably be a first round exit now. I feel like that's enough ammunition to get a new coach. And this team need a leader too. They don't have a leader.
No.
They definitely don't have a leader. And I ain't like how Embiid was like, he said he was the best in the world. Then when they follow up asked him, he was like, yeah, I did say that. Yeah, I feel like I am. Like, he was kind of hesitant on it. Like, they definitely need a leader over there. But that's what Jimmy Butler was. They should have tried harder to keep him. And then they gave all their money to Tobias and Al Horford. 2 guys that's they just want to fit in. They're not going to lead you.
Right.
So they just got a lot of fit in guys. They don't have any standout leader. I feel like Embiid tried to be that, and then he got kind of unconfident with his own words.
Yeah.
And Ben Simmons don't really talk.
Embiid, he goes through those phases though. He goes through phases where he impossible to stop. He unstoppable, and he got this big aura. He giving these great interviews. He entertaining, and then he goes through moments where he 7 points and 2 rebounds, or injured, or what was the game? I can't remember. A couple weeks ago, I think he had 0. He goes through those stretches. Jimmy need more credit, man. He knows something. He hasn't been wrong yet. Mm-hmm. Minnesota, he was right with the work ethic. Philly, he was saying locker room drama, and it's basically the same thing. Work ethic ain't there. We kind of seeing it. Mm-hmm. So I would ask you. You think they should change the coach? So next year, 100%. You would keep the same roster.
I feel like it's a lot of teams that should change coaches. It just hasn't been a situation that's pushed them to that point. Everybody's been, a lot of teams have just been like, we're a middle of the pack team. We're comfortable with this. Yeah. Philly has too much talent to just be comfortable with middle of the pack. Yeah. And obviously it's easier to change coaches versus changing players. So I would change coaches.
So let's say they change coaches and next year it's the same situation. Who you moving, Simmons or Embiid?
I feel like you gotta move Embiid off health. Just because when you think long term, you can't even pinpoint how much time left he has at this peak. You really can't tell. I could I know we were kind of talking off camera. Imagine Ben Simmons with the pieces Giannis has around him, another guy who can go get his shot and everybody else can shoot, and a few rim protectors who can also steal, slightly shoot.
Yeah.
That's what he needs. Neither of them are really surrounded around their own team. So
yeah.
But I just think back to that series with the Raptors when he was kind of, said he had the runs, and then for whatever other reason he sat out that other game. Could you imagine him telling Mark Jackson he has the runs?
Well,
is nobody holding him accountable to that level?
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. I don't even think it would get to that.
Same point. With Ben Simmons. If Mark Jackson was there, Ben Simmons probably would have been shooting, bro.
Yeah, at least attempting it by now.
I feel like they need a coach change and they need a leader on that team. And you can have a leader that's not like the go-to guy, things like that. But they got a lot of just fitting guys like Josh Richardson, fitting guy, great at his role. Al Horford, great at his role. He's going to complement you. Tobias Harris, great role player, shoot. The defense is kind of up and down, but he'll fit in with you offensively.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't have just that standout leader who's going to hold everybody accountable. And that's what they need.
Yeah.
If you're not going to have that in a player, you got to have it as a coach. And like I said, it's easier to change the coach. Okay. So, like, with that being said, you said you thought Philly would be the second best team in the East.
Mm-hmm.
Now that it's clear that the Bucks are number one, what's the biggest threat to them?
The biggest threat to the Bucks in the East is...
Like, the Bucks clearly the favorite.
Yeah, definitely. Mm-hmm. I'm going to say it's the Raptors, bro.
The Raptors the biggest threat? Raptors, off the Bucks?
Yeah. Because the Raptors play so well together, it's hard to beat them.
You trust Siakam?
Do I trust Siakam? I don't trust the Raptors to beat the Bucks.
They're just the biggest threat.
They'll give them the hardest time, I think. No other team in the East, to me, will push the Bucks to 6 or 7 games, but I feel like the Raptors will. I feel like the Raptors, for one at home, the Raptors are tough, extremely tough. And I do trust Siakam enough to keep it competitive. I will say that. And the Raptors' depth is also enough to push the Bucks in a 7-game series. No other team really has the depth that the Raptors have.
Miami don't got depth.
Except the Heat. I was about to say except the Heat, but the Heat has so many young, unproven players. I don't know if I would trust them in a 7-game series.
Yeah, that's true.
Jimmy, yes. Tyler Hero, I don't know. Duncan Robinson, I don't know what they're going to bring.
That's why I like the trade for Iggy and Jay Crowder, because who knows how much Hero, Robinson, Bam got to be relied on to make those big plays in those moments now.
Right.
Because now you got a few vets around where it's like things getting a little shaky, get the vet in there.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can make those changes. I definitely would disagree with nobody would push them past 6 games outside of Toronto. I definitely think Boston would.
Boston, yeah.
I definitely think Boston would. Boston probably my biggest threat just off the strength that I see Tatum going to another level. Jaylen Brown, confidence through the roof. Kemba isn't like that alpha male like Kyrie. He's just going to let everybody be themselves. Mm-hmm. He's not the type to... Like, Kyrie comes off like a great teammate because you really don't hear anybody say anything.
Yeah.
But Kemba doesn't have that aura with him, like, I'm the guy, even without saying it. Kyrie kind of gives that off. So I feel like everybody that was quote-unquote role players last year for Kyrie can now just be themselves. Everybody just knows their roles. They're buying into Brad Stevens. I feel like Kyrie and Brad Stevens definitely disagreed a few times. So I would definitely go Boston as the biggest threat. Mm-hmm. Defensively, Toronto is definitely the best team for Milwaukee, though. Definitely. But I just don't trust them to score in the fourth quarter when it really comes down to it. Even though they're the team that's been there before, you just relying on Van Fleet and Siakam. I don't know if those are there. If they're those guys yet.
Right.
I just don't know that. They could be those pieces alongside another piece, but I don't know if they could be that guy yet.
Well, okay.
Like feeding off Kawhi was like, that was fine.
Yeah.
Now it's like we feeding off you.
Right. You gotta create. I
don't know.
Well, I still think Toronto would be the biggest threat, but I totally forgot about Boston. I don't know why I wasn't thinking about Boston, but I could see Boston taking Milwaukee to 6 or 7, but I still think Toronto would be the tougher out just because of the defensive standpoint, like you said. Mm-hmm. Now, it would be tough because the Bucks give up a lot of threes. Like, they're one of the worst teams guarding the three-point line. Okay. And we know Boston can shoot. But we also thought Toronto could too, but as we saw a couple nights ago, when it's not falling, it's hard to beat the Bucks, bro. It's a 7-game series when everything's slowed down. It's just going to be hard.
Yeah, Boston depth is an issue. But in a playoff series, you're only playing 7-8 at the most anyway.
And bigs.
Yeah.
Boston's bigs are an issue too. When Giannis get that switch, who gonna stop him?
But Boston likes to play team defense anyway, and they like to switch everything. That's definitely gonna be a huge mismatch with Kemba and a switch.
Yeah.
But Milwaukee isn't really that pick and roll team to that extent, though. You know, they move the ball around as a team, and I feel like Boston can guard that pretty well. And they can score with them. I think that's really
they can.
That's really why I picked them.
Shooting wise, they definitely
they can score with them.
Yeah, for sure.
They have a few players that could just go get you one. That I can trust, at least. That I'll trust. I'll trust Tatum to do it.
Yeah.
I seen him doing his rookie year when he shouldn't have been doing it.
Mm-hmm.
But he was more than capable of doing it. And he's just getting better every day. I definitely go Boston.
One thing with Boston, what makes me nervous is when Giannis getting that attack mode.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Toronto, I mean, let's get this shit right now. Nobody can guard Giannis. Like, we going to get that.
Yeah, nobody's going to try to guard him one-on-one. That's not the game.
Right, you can't. But I trust Toronto. I trust him having to go through Serge, Siakam, Marcus Gasol down there instead of going through Jaylen Brown and Enes Kanter.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I trust that more, and I feel like that will keep them in the game more. You know, you can switch Siakam. Let's say Siakam and Serge get switched. Siakam can guard Middleton. Siakam can stay with Giannis, and so can Serge. I'm not really sold on Jason Tatum staying with both, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And in a playoff game, that's what it is. It's a lot of slow it down on half-court offense, switches. And I mean, I don't know. Like, Boston can definitely score. They can shoot with them, but
they're going to have the team defense them.
Have
for
to.
sure. For sure.
Every team committed to everything.
Yeah, every team will have to do that. Moving to the West, though, your boy Braun got a groin injury. He didn't play against the Warriors, so it's kind of like, you know, maybe he's just taking the day off. It's the Warriors.
Yeah.
You think it's legit, or you think it's just
some
low management stuff?
Maintenance, for sure.
Maintenance.
I mean, Braun been going crazy, especially after he went crazy against the Pelicans.
So is it maintenance because he felt something, or is it maintenance just maintenance?
Maybe a little bit of both. A lot of precaution. Maybe he did feel something. He had a groin injury before, right?
That was an injury that took him out last year,
right,
in the Warriors game on Christmas Day.
So
that's why I'm like, do you say it's groin because it comes off to the league, like, oh, this might be legit,
right?
Or is it really the groin?
I don't think he's hurt for real. You know, it might be a little tight, or he might have stretched it the wrong way. Maybe, I don't know, but I definitely don't think it's anything to worry about.
I can't really tell.
Definitely not from watching the Pelicans game. He seemed perfectly fine.
Yeah, and he seemed in good spirits yesterday. At the Warriors game. Definitely can't tell.
I mean, there's no point in playing against the Warriors. I mean, Andrew Wiggins didn't even play yesterday. So I'm definitely not finna risk LeBron and we pushing. They're playing good right now. They're playing great. You don't want to risk that, you know, going towards the playoff. Anthony Davis already injury prone as it is, so you definitely got to be cautious. They still got the dub anyway. So.
Yeah, that's an easy win, regardless. A few things you noticing out west, Houston is going upward ever since they made the trade. I think they won 5 straight now. Since the Capella trade, so small ball is working currently, and you see other teams going in the downward direction. Memphis and Utah. And Utah making the lineup change. They originally said they were taking Mike Conley to the bench. Now it's Joe Ingles to the bench, and they're putting Royce O'Neal in the starting lineup. Yeah. How you feel if you Joe Ingles?
I'm confused because when they inserted Joe Ingles into the lineup earlier this year, that's when they had their best stretch of games. Like, they were on a winning streak. So to move him back, I'm kind of confused by it. I guess if you're going to make a change, he's the only one you can change. Because if you take out Mike Conley, who's going to run point? You know, which I get it. But I probably just wouldn't have made a change. I guess.
Wouldn't have made a change?
Yeah, I would have just left it, you know.
I like Royce O'Neal. He definitely been earning his minutes. I'd say that.
He's a great energy player. He fits in well. But he kind of does the same thing Joe does. He's just a little more athletic.
Yeah. And then they brought the guy in from the Pacers. I can't remember his name from last year. But he's pretty much a shooter just like Joe Ingles. So, I don't know. It seemed like that was the only person to really move, even though I felt like Mike Conley got to this team probably 2-3 years late. You know, this would have been a lot better if he was there. Donovan's rookie year. But So I don't know, man. People had a lot of high expectations for Utah. I never really agreed with them. You know, they don't really have like that dominant three. You know, so I didn't really see a high ceiling for this team anyway. And I feel like they're just trying to shake things up. Basically trying to keep themselves in that 5 spot and play Houston first round and not play the Clippers or Denver in the first round.
Well, what would you say? Well, I understand not having a high ceiling, but I guess what would be your ceiling for the Jazz?
Well, they're a second round team at best.
Second round team, yeah. I feel that.
And the only way that happens is if they get a 4 or 5 seed, because they're not going to beat the Clippers. They're not going to beat the Lakers. They would have to get a good seed to win a first round matchup.
Yeah.
So that's really their ceiling to me. So regardless of what they do to the lineup, it was just like their ceiling really isn't that high.
Yeah.
Not to me.
I will say, speaking on Houston though, we definitely didn't think it was gonna work. Saying that, but I still feel like
is this considered working
in the long run? I don't think it's gonna work.
It's not really considered working to me. I mean, we knew they was gonna win like 50 games regular season.
Yeah,
this is not really like. I was like, okay, this is cool, but the same thing we said like once, because their expectations is finals based off the last couple years. They're not gonna beat the Lakers in a series when they don't have any bigs.
No, I agree.
They're not going to get any, like, the Lakers will kill them on offensive rebounds. They're not going to get any second chance points. All these threes lead to long rebounds. So facing a Lakers team or a Clippers team, they're the team that allows you to get in transition in a playoff series because they're taking threes, which are long rebounds, which is just transition baskets.
Mm-hmm.
So I just don't see how they're going to compete against those two teams. Even the Denver series would be tough for Houston.
Yeah, I said that I don't think they would beat Denver.
Mm-hmm.
As of right now, Houston's probably fourth best team in the West.
Yeah, I mean,
and the Jazz really might take them to 7 if it does get there.
So I feel like the Jazz trying to switch things up because they just lost the 5th seed to OKC.
Right.
So they trying to get back in the mix. So they do play Houston first round, but they've lost to Houston before in the playoff series. So they not, I don't really know. I feel like Houston could beat them in the series. The 7-game series.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely can. Mm-hmm. But I wouldn't say it's a for sure dub. I think it would definitely be 6 or 7 for sure. Mm-hmm. OKC, I think that would be OKC pretty easily, though. But OKC, Billy Donovan should be in like some Coach of the Year talk, bro. OKC is surpassing expectations. They are one of those teams on the rise.
You crediting Billy Donovan for that?
Partially, kind of, yeah. I mean, who else?
I'm cool.
Who you crediting?
Chris Paul.
Credit to CP3.
Oh, here we go, man. Chris Paul has been playing well. Yes, he definitely has. But he's not the only one that's playing well on that team.
And I know that.
The way that they play together and they mix well, I mean, you have to give credit to the coach. If you're going to give credit to Nate McMillan for Indiana, you got to give credit to Billy Donovan and OKC.
Why?
What you mean, why? Same situation. They both playing with not a star, technically, when Oladipo was out.
He's made the All-Star game.
Who?
Chris Paul.
Hey, yeah.
Y'all know how I feel about that.
Cool.
Should have been Devin Booker.
Hey, he been hooping.
Facts. Should have been Devin
Booker.
So Chris Paul not starting?
Chris Paul isn't Chris Paul old? No.
No, I'm not saying that. Is he a star?
What's a star?
An all-star at least.
I mean, this year I wouldn't have put Chris Paul in the All-Star game because I would have had Devin Booker in there.
But he's in the
So is Kyle Lowry.
Oh. Devin Booker been hooping too. Don't get me wrong, but CP3
you feel me?
Been hooping.
I don't.
In my opinion,
I don't feel you on the
Chris
CP3
Paul
thing,
is
though.
not an all-star.
Oh,
Chris Paul is a good point guard, above average point guard.
So do you stop being the all-star when you stop making the all-star game? And you just never was the all-star before? That's what you're saying.
I'm
right
not
now.
counting the all-star game.
You're not counting this?
Because if that's the case, then nobody better not ever say anything about Kyle Lowry because he's made it like 3 years in a row. But so many people are mad that he made it over Bradley Beal this year. So I'm saying you could provide this same argument in that situation, and I'm just not going to entertain it.
Yeah.
Chris Paul, to me, hasn't been the best player on OKC this year. And I've said that before. I think Shea has been the best player on OKC this year.
I feel like it's very close. It's like no doubt Chris Paul the leader.
That's what
Oh, yeah, he's definitely
And
the
when their
leader.
play style is very close to the same type of numbers. And at a 5th seed.
So, I mean, you can't credit it all to Chris Paul either. If another player is providing the same thing he provided.
No, I was arguing the coach. I'm not giving a lot of credit to Billy Donovan. Because when I seen him have even more talent than this, they were worse than this.
Yeah, bro. I
So
mean,
that's why I'm not giving
we know
him
how
credit.
that can be too, though.
What is that?
Once you get more talent, you're not as good because it doesn't mesh well. Which obviously something wasn't working because
The coach. To me.
the
The coach. Russ just now got a coach who like is coaching him to his best, like to allow him to be his best self. They got rid of bigs. They opened the floor up. He can now just drive at will, one-on-one situations. He's not taking as many threes. Previously, they were surrounding him with people who couldn't even shoot. They were surrounding him with defenders. That doesn't even fit Russ.
But how is that the coaches? I mean, like, that's more than just the coach, though. General manager has to be on board with that.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to, like, give away pieces. Like, Houston gave away Clint Capella.
Mm-hmm.
They, like, invested into that.
Mm-hmm.
You can't really blame just Billy Donovan for not doing that with Russ, you know? He had to work with what he had. I can go to you all I want, like, hey, we need to, you know, change the team to fit around Russ.
Mm-hmm.
But you as a general manager, if you're like, no, like, we need to make it work with this, like, sometimes you just can't.
How long he been there?
2 years, 3, since Russ MVP season. So 3 years ago. It was Scott Brooks before that. I mean, you're just talking about 2 totally different scenarios. Houston's been going towards small ball for a minute now.
So Billy Donovan had 3 years with Russ. And he had PG.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm cool. Yeah, I'm giving a lot of credit to Chris Paul. I don't like that coach.
I feel it, bro.
I feel like he underachieved when he had a lot more talent. They shouldn't have lost to the Blazers, especially the way they lost.
Yeah. Well, when you say a lot more talent, you're talking
Then right now.
2
Then this team
individual
right
players.
now. Yeah.
OKC, this is probably like the most solid starting 5 they've had.
They had 2 stars, and PG was arguably a top 5 player that year.
No doubt.
He was like top 3 MVP.
But that was it. 2 stars.
That's
and,
it?
And Steven Adams.
Steven Adams should look better than what he looks right now.
Why?
Right now, because he looked better years before.
Because he fit Russ better.
That's what I'm saying. So he had more talent.
But they have a solid, 6 now? You got
You're talking about
Chris,
6 players?
Shea,
They had Schroeder
Steven
last year.
Adams,
They had
Gallinari,
Schroeder last year.
Schroeder.
They had Schroeder last year. They got one shooter and another guard. PG better than Shea.
Oh, yeah.
Russ should look better in that offense than Chris Paul.
Chris Paul fitted, bro. Chris Paul's a totally different player than Russ.
No, for sure.
So if
But
you
Russ shouldn't have looked like that in that Portland series.
So how can we blame Billy Donovan for that?
Because he wasn't coaching Russ properly.
I mean, we're going to call it how it is. Joe Ingles clamped Paul George, fam. That's not Billy Donovan's fault.
He did.
Russ shooting terrible. Donovan Mitchell was going right by him. Like, that's not Billy Donovan's fault.
Somebody has to hold Russ accountable for his shot selection. That's the coach. That's why Mike D'Antoni was like, okay, I know how to get the best out of you. I'm going to remove this big so the lane is open for you. That's a coaching change. That was a great move.
So if
that's the best, that's how you're going to get the best out of Russ. Allow him to open the lane and surround him with shooters. Same with James Harden.
So you would have took Steven Adams out the lineup if you were the coach.
Well, I'm not really saying that. But what I'm saying is when you got Adams, you had Grant, you had PG, you had Russ, you had Melo, you had Schroeder. It's too many pieces that you should have made something happen instead of losing 4-1 Portland. 4-1?
Yeah. I mean, it's bad, bro.
I'm looking at coaching on that.
It's just deeper, I think. It's just deeper than that. Because you could argue you get the best out of Russ, you know, when the floor is open. And I agree with you with that 100%. But you also just said Steven Adams was better when he had Russ. So do you keep the big with Russ? Like, it's too hard. I feel like it's a lot to ask. Change the entire offense just for Russ. Because now in Houston already has shooters.
But that's the guy you gave the money to, so you got to believe in Russ. You gave him the 5-year extension. You gave him the money, so, like, it's no point of giving him the money, giving him the keys, when you're not giving him everything else in the car that he wants.
Yeah.
Don't give me the car off the lot with no air conditioning, the window don't work. Like, give me everything that I want so I can drive the car how I want to.
Yeah.
That's how I'm going to get the most out the car.
It's hard I don't know. I feel like it's hard for a coach to change. Like, that whole team has to change, bro. Houston just needed to change one position instead of changing maybe 5, 6.
So Billy Donovan, when Oladipo was there?
He came a year after, I thought. I thought that was still Scott Brooks.
Oh, no.
Russ didn't win MVP when Oladipo was there. He won the year after. When
he won with legit. PG?
It was just him by himself.
Then Oladipo was there. Because PG was playing.
I thought it was Oladipo.
Let me check.
Then a year with just Russ. And then PG and Melo came. And that didn't work.
So he definitely didn't win MVP when PG and Melo came. It had to be the year before that.
Yeah, it was the year before that for sure. But I thought it was just Russ. Like, no Oladipo.
See, it was just, no, Oladipo was there. That's how they made the trade for PG.
Oh, yeah.
So Oladipo had to be there.
So it was definitely.
So that's another player that they didn't get the most out of. Like, yeah, no.
Nah, and saying that, it's a lot. Bro,
how?
Oladipo just took off in Indiana.
No, Oladipo was good in Orlando. That's why they made that deal for him.
He was good, but he wasn't what he is now.
But that's not what I'm saying, though. You put him with another piece, he should be even better.
That kind of falls on Russ, though.
No, I'm not excusing Russ, but the only way Russ is going to change, Russ not going to change himself. His mentality is his mentality.
Right.
Now I got to look at the coach. The player has to be coached.
Yeah.
Russ wasn't getting coached. Russ was shooting whatever he wanted to shoot. He was calling all the plays he wanted to call. Even when KD was there, he was just shooting whatever he wanted to shoot, bro.
Yeah. Nah.
I got to look at the coach.
That's a tough situation, man.
I got to look at the coach, bro.
We're not really in that situation, so it's like it's hard to say. It's hard to tell Russ, who just came off a 30, 10-10 season, hey, bro, you can't shoot like this no more.
You basically swapped out Russ for you swap out Russ, you get Chris Paul, who's a higher IQ player, and now your team is excelling in all areas better. I'm not gonna give the coach credit for that. Not as much as you.
I mean, you got more than Chris Paul though.
You do, but Chris Paul is making players look better
because Chris Paul fits his system. Chris Paul passes. You know what I'm saying? He's a more willing passer than Russ, bro. He fits that system.
He does.
It's like it's easy, and Chris Paul's also older than Russ, more mature. He's always been a better passer.
You gotta adjust to what you have.
Man, I'm not finna. I feel you. I definitely do. But at the same time, it's almost like I'm gonna get a little off track here. It's almost like the situation with the Bears, bro. You have Mitch, but you can try to adjust to him all you want, but if it don't fit, it don't fit. And I feel like that's what it was. Billy Donovan had his style of coach and Russ has his style of play. If it don't work, it don't work. We know how Russ is, bro. Mm-hmm. We can sit and say, Russ, you need to pass more. You need to do this and do that. He's like, bro, I'm about to run this pick and roll with Steve Adams, and that's what it is. He get a little older. He finally get traded out of that situation. It hit him a little bit. He playing with Harden now. He's like, okay, let me see if this works. I mean, we don't know. We don't really know.
Shit, I feel like I don't know. We spent too much time on this. Yeah. But speaking of them Bears, we're gonna transition to NFL.
The Harden.
What you mean?
The Harden.
Oh no, we're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to that for sure. But football, new CBA proposal. I mean, we already know what it is, but for anybody that doesn't know, they're trying to extend the regular season to 17 games. It was 16. Obviously, the revenue would go up in a multitude of ways. Rookies would get paid more. 48% of the revenue will climb up. So, I mean, it's definitely like a money grab that they're trying to do. Like, this would definitely help money-wise. They would lower even training camp from 28 to 16 practices. They somehow feel like one more game is going to be a big money thing for them. and players are completely against it. And I honestly agree, bro. Like, I wouldn't want to play an extra game if I was an NFL player. And then the thing with the playoffs is different too. So only one team gets a bye, and now a 2 seed will play in the first round.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely don't like that either. Like, you could be 14-2 playing, 14-3, obviously, because it would be 17 games.
Yeah.
Playing at 8-8, possibly losing that, a team that shouldn't even be there. Like, I don't even know the scenarios of the teams that would have got in, but if you did that last year.
It would have been Rams, yeah.
Rams
would have played
was the second seed.
Or 49ers.
49ers was one, I thought. They would have played the Saints.
No, they would have.
Who got the bye?
No, so it would have been the second best team. Well, the best team in the NFL would have got
been the only team with the bye.
Right.
Then the second best team would have played the worst team. So the Rams would have been the worst team.
Right.
And I thought it was the Saints that was the second best team.
In the NFL?
In the NFC.
Nah.
Second
best team in the NFC was the Packers.
Oh, yeah. So the Packers would have played the Rams.
Right.
Yeah. I would have hated that if I was the Packers. I would have hated that. To be 14-3 and then play a team that was, 8-9, whatever it is, with 17 games now.
Yeah.
Like that would have been terrible. Combined with more games, one more game. Even I know people think it's just one more game. In the NFL, that's just a lot more than people realize.
Yeah.
And you see a lot of people talking about they hate this idea. Players hate this idea.
Yeah.
I don't like it either.
From a player standpoint, I definitely see why they hate it. As a fan, it's hard to say you hate it because you're getting more football. You're getting that extra week. And then you also get that Cinderella factor. Like, how can this
fans gonna like it till their team lose to this new system.
Right, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's hard to say because it would have been what Oakland got in and they would have played
the Chiefs.
Because
Baltimore was one.
Right. Yeah. So let's say that happened and Oakland beat the Chiefs. Like, you got this factor. Wow, like that's crazy. Almost like the March Madness factor. And then it also helps games later in the season when normally a 2 seed would sit their players. Now people are going to play harder because they're trying to get that bye. So I definitely could see why a fan would like it, because I'm not really opposed to it, but I'm also a realist. Like, I understand that's terrible for their bodies, and it's, I don't know, man. It's just, if you 7-9, bro, or 7-10, you should not be in the playoffs. Mm. Yeah. Even if it is my team, I understand, bro. We finna play the second best team in the conference. Probably finna get smoked. We shouldn't even be there.
Yeah, I don't really like it anyway, bro.
Curious to see how it worked though.
Yeah. More NFL free agency. People think Brady is officially out of New England. I know I've said so many times that I hope he stays and I hope that they work something out. Obviously, the situation wouldn't be the best for him, though, just off the strength that if you pay Brady, it's a lot of elite, it's a lot of other NFL players you couldn't bring in that would have skills to help this offense. Mm-hmm. Or you would have to lose defense in order to help the offense, which means it just wouldn't balance out properly. Brady would need to go to a team that's a quarterback away. A lot of people think that's going to happen. I hope it doesn't, but that's probably going to be the best decision for him.
Yeah.
For his career, I guess.
Career-wise.
And he's such a competitor. I know he wants to win without Bill Belichick. So, speaking of the Pats, Sanu said he needs ankle surgery. He said he played through an ankle problem the whole year. Mm. You like when players say they hurt after the season?
Nah.
Like we saw OBJ did that too.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it looks like an excuse, but either way, it's gonna look like an excuse though. If they say it while they playing bad in the season, it's gonna look like an excuse. They say it after season over, it's gonna look like an excuse.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'd rather they just not say it at
almost
all.
A lose-lose. Like just let the report come out. You need a surgery, and just let that speak for itself.
Right. Yeah.
So, I mean, OBJ handled it totally different. Like he literally said, like, I wasn't healthy. Don't blame the QB. Don't blame this, and that.
Mm-hmm.
Blame me. Which I kind of liked him taking more accountability because that was something that people felt like he didn't do before. But this Sanu thing, it's just like Sanu definitely looked like he wasn't a fit the entire time. And this one comes off a little excuse.
Yeah.
The Cowboys, people think the Cowboys would be a good fit for Brady. Jerry Jones had a real interesting quote. Let me find that.
These Cowboys, man.
They asked him about, would you rule out a reunion with Dez Bryant? He says, I've thought about it a lot in the shower.
First of all, I'm straight on Jay Jones. But
Straight on Jerry Jones?
Straight on Jay Jones, but in saying that, man, it's too much talk about the wrong things with Jerry Jones to me, man. Like, you talking about returning with Dez and all of this. Bro, you need to pay Dak. Like, you need to pay your quarterback. Why are you thinking about Dez in the shower, fam?
Yeah.
You know, so I'm cool on Cowboys, bro. Unless they pay Dak. Even if they get Brady, we talked about this the other day, I still feel like that's a short-term fix, 2-3 year fix. You need to just pay Dak or do what you finna do. Then you could talk about Dez, bro. Like, Dez ain't going nowhere, man. Think about Dez in the shower, bro. Come on, man.
Oh, man. Joe Burrow met with Cincy. Said the interview went great. But he will meet with the Redskins. And Redskins coach Ron Rivera says he's just doing his due diligence.
Yeah.
Meeting with Joe Burrow and Tua. What's their quarterback name? What they had last year?
Dwayne Haskins. Which is my boy, by the way.
This is terrible, bro.
That's so disrespectful.
He was already disrespected so much last year. This is terrible, bro.
It is, and I'm not understanding why. For one, because when Dwayne Haskins actually played, he actually played well. I mean, it's hard.
They won his first 2 games.
He did.
And the last 2 games were against teams that were fighting to get in the playoffs, along with him being hurt. Yeah. They played the Rams. I think it was Carolina. So the teams that were like trying to squeeze their way in at the last minute. So I mean, it's like, I don't know.
I think it's like a slap in the face, man. For real. He already played the whole season without his best lineman. You know, he got
the team isn't good.
One weapon. They're not good.
Yeah,
Terry's the best weapon. Adrian Peterson's still okay, but come on, man. Like,
and then we tried to excuse him for it last year, like, oh, they're trying not to put him in a situation where, quote unquote, he'll get killed on the field because he has no help.
Right.
But now you talking to Tua, Burrow, just due diligence. Ain't no due diligence when you got your guy.
Right.
So this what comes with it though. When you get a new coach or a new GM, they walking into a situation where it's like, these not my people.
Right. He didn't.
So you might want to switch things around.
He didn't vouch for that,
Yeah, it's just like,
I'm straight on it though.
We thought the Redskins had a steal, and it looked like they messing it up.
I like Dwayne, bro. Not just saying that because I'm an Ohio State fan, but just like his progression, like you can see it, and then he got that fire in him, bro.
And then I can't even fairly judge him. Like, look at the situation he's in. Yeah, I can't even fairly judge him.
Surround him with some weapons. Give him a year as the actual starter. Give him a training camp in the NFL system, bro. Like you just writing him off for another rookie.
Yeah, and then he's trying to prove himself and with such little around him to people who don't want him. That's how it's coming off.
Yeah, saying that, They need to just draft Chase Young, bro, and just see what you got.
We saw the Wilder versus Fury. What are your thoughts?
Man, it was tough to watch, but I just don't like how Wilder handling it after, with all these excuses like the 40-pound costume and this and that. And just
dude built like KG, but thought he could put 40 pounds on him for 15 minutes.
Like, come on, man. Like,
why you thought that was gonna work?
That's my whole thing.
And then he tried it on at the crib the day before, so you knew what you was getting into.
Yeah.
You knew, like, okay, I'm gonna wear this for at least 20. Then he tried to say, like, I'm walking up some stairs, it was just a lot. Like, my legs had a full workout. You knew what you was coming in on, bro. Like, you knew you was gonna have to walk up some stairs. Like, come on, man.
Yeah, I'm sure on the way handling it. I hope they do rematch it, though. But
so you want to see a rematch?
I wouldn't mind seeing a rematch.
Even though he lost like that?
Yeah, because I feel like, personally, he just got his ass whooped. Like,
so how would he win?
I feel like he would train way harder.
Train to do what?
Win, bro. I don't know.
How? Like, how's he going to become a better boxer at 34 years of age? Against Fury, who's younger. The weight ain't going to change with Fury. Like, the weight is his advantage.
Yeah.
Wilder getting girthier or heavier. One, that doesn't fit his body type. Two, that's not his fight style.
Yeah.
He's a knockout artist. you know, and he doesn't jab well.
Yeah.
Fury's really good at jabbing. He's really elusive for his size. It just comes out like a bad matchup.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't know what he would change in time for a rematch because Fury said we have to do a rematch within 6 months.
Yeah, that's quick.
Because it's a money grab, which is smart on Fury.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because if you're not gonna fight me, I'm just gonna go Anthony Joshua.
I wouldn't mind seeing that either.
Yeah. I wanted to talk about Duke, but I'm gonna say that for this ACC tournament. I'm gonna say that. Thoughts on Vanessa Bryant suing the helicopter company? Well, the helicopter operator, I guess. The right terms.
Hard to say. I wouldn't feel the same way.
It's so touchy, bro. Because I feel like I'm just bringing up so much pain. Every day I have to go through that.
Yeah.
I'm already trying. I don't even know how she is dealing with this, how you do deal with this. But constantly, you know what a lawsuit is like, constantly trying to fight your case, saying, you know, just going through that every single day. I wouldn't want to do that, man.
Yeah.
I just want to be at home in my space and heal. But obviously everybody grieves differently, and she could be doing this for the people who can't or couldn't do this, that were in similar situations previously in life, down the road in the future, but
or even the other victims on the plane.
Yeah.
I
didn't even think about that.
We don't really know the ins and outs, deep details, but
that's a good point. I didn't even think about that.
It's definitely, I don't know, man. But definitely, I want to like show my respects to her though for getting up and speaking during the.
Man, so much strength, bro.
Super strong, bro.
So
for
much
real.
strength. Did you watch it? I didn't watch it.
I didn't watch it live, but I saw like her speech. And
yeah, that's
crazy, bro. Crazy how she held it together. You know, I probably couldn't have done it.
I watched part of it, bro, and it was just too sad for me. I was just like, bro,
it was definitely sad.
Yeah. So, once again, prayers out to the whole Bryant family, every family that was involved. Again, R.I.P. Pop Smoke. Prayers to his mom and everybody in their family that was involved, and all the fans of all these people that we've lost recently, bro.
Yeah.
Music, entertainers, athletes, everybody, bro.
It's a tough year, man. It's gonna get better, though. It's gonna get better, man. Stop hating, bro.
Anything else, bro?
Nah, man. Let's start making this year better, though. I'm looking forward to next week. We going
the Harden clip. The Harden
Hold on. Almost forgot. Don't you got a shout out to give? What's today?
Oh, man.
On the camera and
Before that, the Harden.
Talk to
No
him.
Harden this episode? No Harden clip?
No.
No Harden clip. All right. Go ahead. Shout out.
Yeah, bro.
Give a shout out to Jules, man. My lady, man. It's her birthday today. Big 2-4.
Big 2-4. Kobe. Shout out Jules.
Yeah, man. She that's my homie, man.
What y'all doing, bro?
We're gonna be downtown. Catch me downtown, man. 5 star. We in the Ritz Carlton, man.
Okay, boy. Okay, you living.
Nah, we in the Waldorf Hotel, man. Peep my snaps.
Okay.
At Reese Money on IG, man.
Okay.
Mike Dog 39 on Snap. Show you how we living for the weekend.
Okay, boy.
Oh man. So shoot. That's it?
That's it, man.
That's it,
Episode
man.
4, man.
The pod, episode 4. Shout out Jules, happy birthday.